Mrs. Frasson, Sasha Frasson. Am I saying that right?
I think so. I mean, I wasn't born with that name, but I think Frasson. Frasson?
Frasson will do.
Yes.
It's a Brazilian last name.
Well, actually, it's Italian originally, Frasson. It sounds kind of French though, like croissant.
It does sound French, yeah, Frasson. Yeah.
Yes, but I think because half his family, they were all from Italy. So his grandparents, 3 of the 4 were actually born in Italy and then moved to Brazil.
His nonna.
Yeah, his nonna.
His nonna.
Yes.
She make the pasta.
She makes a gnocchi very well.
Yeah. Yes. That's funny because Marcus has Marcus Good.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Something.
Giardino.
Yeah.
Giardino?
Something.
That's Italian anyway.
Yeah.
We were just talking about it today. So Brazilians, there's a big culture of Japanese, I think, and Italians in Brazil, and Africans.
And Germans.
And Germans.
They have the largest population of Italians outside Italy, apparently. That's why they have really good, pizza.
Wow. Well, do they though?
Maybe.
I went to São Paulo.
Where did you go?
São Paulo. Apparently it's meant to be the best.
Okay.
I mean, this isn't Testify about Brazil, but we can rip on Brazil because we're both married to Brazilians.
Yeah. It's good in a different way. Hey, it's not wood-fired, but it's like...
I had one pizza, so
Yeah,
I probably shouldn't be.
You're not seasoned
No,
enough.
no. How many times have you been to Brazil?
Twice.
Okay.
Yeah. But one time was for 6 months.
Oh, that's right. You guys you live there. 6 months is a long time.
Yeah. And then the second time was with Manny when he was 18 months. That was just for 1 month. But we definitely ate a lot of pizza.
Everyone comes back a bit heavier from
I gained
Brazil.
6 or 7 kilos my first trip.
7 kilos?
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, I did well.
That's a lot of pizza. What about half?
Yeah, we were both just like...
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think a mutual friend of ours just came back from Brazil.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, a little bit more rounder.
Yeah.
A little bit healthier, some people would say.
Healthier, yeah.
A little bit more.
Well, when you're there, though.
Oh, when you're there.
When you're there.
Oh, Lord.
You have to eat.
Oh. And the food's strong as well. It's I don't think you can say that about many cultures' food, but it is strong.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's that's a couple minutes of talking about some random stuff. You feeling better?
I'm feeling better now.
Okay, good.
More relaxed.
So, Sash, where were you born?
I was born in Auckland, New Zealand.
Sorry about that.
Yes, I was. Middlemore Hospital in Auckland. Yep.
How long were you there for?
Till I was 9.
Good, thank you. You said hospital. You're like, a couple of days and then we...
Yes, we were in Auckland till I was 9 and then we moved to the Gold Coast when I was 9. Yeah.
So, the Lord started to bless you at about 9 years old, hey?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it was like coming into paradise when we first moved because I just remember arriving at the complex that we were staying in down in Coomera. And you drove in and there was palm trees lined up on the side, like a typical complex here. But, you know, there was a pool, tennis court,
the sun
terracotta
was out.
roofs, blue sky. And I remember at the time, Mum and Dad paying $280 for rent for a 3-bedroom, a typical family home back then. And I just remember it being bliss. It was just amazing coming, Not that I love New Zealand, it's beautiful, but just it literally felt like paradise when we came, like a holiday that wasn't ever ending. And we were just at the beach all the time and eating cooked chicken from Coles and living it up.
They don't do that in New Zealand?
I mean, I don't remember that. I just remember coming here and it was just every other night we're cooked chicken.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. They might do it, but I don't know. Maybe it was just something that we didn't do there and then it was something we discovered here.
It is pretty good. I don't even think about it. That's a pretty good deal. $10 for a cooked whole chicken.
Maybe $18 now.
It probably is. Yeah, it used to be $10.
Yeah.
I actually think I remember it being $9.
I remember it being $8.
Yeah. Oh, shucks.
Yeah.
$8's good.
I'm pretty sure when we came.
Do you know what I'm realising? We're becoming you know, those people that say, when I was your age, you know how you hear your parents say it? I catch myself all the time and I'm like, flip, man, you're 33, bro. You're too young.
Go down to the dairy and get a bag of lollies for like $1 and it would be like this big.
That's the story. Yeah. I remember my mum saying, we used to go down to the shops for $2. I'd get a can of drink and some lollies and we'd have change. And now I'm like, for $5, you'd get a pack of chips, some lollies, a can of drink and something else, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. But it's crazy because like even when like Manny's been losing his teeth lately and I was like, how much are you going to give him? I'm like, what can you get for $1? Like I remember getting $1 as a kid and it was like, yes, I get to go to the shop and like buy something.
Yeah.
He's going to have to save like 10 teeth and then he can buy something.
Yeah. What do you start doing? Putting $5 notes under their pillow?
Okay. I maybe did $5 for the first tooth because it was the first tooth. I was like, this one's special.
Oh, you set the standard, Sasha?
Nah, he was fine. I said the next ones are all $1.
He probably thinks a dollar coin is going to be better anyway.
Yeah, because it's gold.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
so true.
It's cool.
Yeah.
You can get, when chocolate bars are on special at Coles, you can get a chocolate bar for $1.
Yeah, you can.
Pity if you go down there on a Tuesday, they're not on special.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
It's good. It's
okay,
good.
So do you consider yourself a Kiwi still or an Aussie?
Nah, I'm not an Australian yet. I'm still a New Zealand citizen. Your wife will get upset when she hears me say that. She's always like, Sasha, do it. And I'm like, I know.
She's an Australian citizen.
I know.
Wow.
I've been here, what is that, like 20-something years, and I haven't done it yet. So I'm going to do that. But anyway, so no, I would consider myself Aussie, but I definitely feel like my roots are, like when I think of my childhood's in New Zealand. That's cool. So I have like really good memories of my childhood there. And because I had such a close-knit family there and then came here as an only child, that was like different too. So I can, when I think of my childhood, I think of being like around all my cousins and, you know, just being on
which are special
nice
memories.
Green grass and no prickles.
Yeah. Oh, man. Do they not have prickles in New Zealand?
No, there's nothing bad in New Zealand.
They're really
there's no like there's no like creepy crawlies in the grass and the grass is like soft, you know. It's covered in daisies and
it was you don't think about it. In Australia, even in your backyard, you like walk around the back of the shed or, you know, whatever, you're like, I hope there's not a snake here. Yeah. There's probably not. Yeah. But you're on edge. You just decide to spin on edge and you're used to that. It's normal. You don't go back inside and you're like, wow, I was on edge. It's just that's how you live. Yeah. When we're in New Zealand at a youth camp, I had to walk through bush to get to this slide. And I remember looking down and then I turned, I think I was with Dan Pike here, and I was like, or whoever I was with, I was like, there's nothing in here that can hurt me, eh? And they're like, no, literally, like I'm like, no spiders? They're like, no. I'm like, no snakes? I'm like, so I could lay here all day and nothing could hurt me. They're like, yeah, nothing. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. But now we just added to the list, not even prickles. Prickles are a real pain.
Yeah.
They're a real pain, especially when you're trying to walk your kids over a big patch of grass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's good. So here when you're 9, went to school on the Gold Coast?
Yeah, I went to Biggerel Waters State School for a couple of years.
Nice school.
And then I went to King's for grade 7.
That's right.
So when I was like 12, moved to King's for grade 7, which was still primary back then. And then I did King's for all of my high school years.
That's pretty cool.
Graduated 07 and
And then a little bit special because your boy's there now, eh?
Yes.
Manny boy?
Yes, in grade 1.
Is there any teachers there that...
Yeah, there's a lot of the same teachers that were there when I was there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Some of them are teaching and some of them have their kids there, so I see them there.
Some of them statues.
Yeah. Some of them... Most of them are kind of... They might look at me, but they don't really... They might not know.
Recognise.
Yeah, they just might stare and be like...
Oh, sorry, I cracked myself up then with the statue thing.
Some statues, wow.
Some of them are there forever. There's monuments. Okay, that's pretty cool. So will you move over here? Are your parents Christians at that point?
Yeah. we came from a pretty big church in Auckland. It was called Green Lane back then. And then we moved over and we started going to a really little sweet church in Coomera, just in like a tiny little hall, maybe like 30 or 40 people, a couple of kids. And I have really good memories of there. Yeah, but then I think the pastors moved away and then it took a little while to like get back into church. I think the next place we went when I was a little bit older is when I attended King's, we started going to King's.
It's pretty wild to hear, like even at a young age hearing about pastors changing, moving, and then for it to having an effect on people.
Yeah, like I remember it. I think I was like maybe 11 and like I know what they look like. I can remember them.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't really grasp their name, I think, but I know what they look like. And yeah, they went to move to Melbourne to be with family, and I think the church just sort of like dissipated.
Oh man, that sucks.
At the time, yeah.
So at that young age, was there any like, did you know God yet? Was there any like revelation? I shouldn't say revelation. Was there any? Or was it just I was just going to church? It's just community?
No, I knew I loved God from a young age. Like I can just remember always like talking to God and just like reading my Bible. And I think I would have been grade 7 Canberra trip that they still do at King's. That was like my first like real like tangible encounter with the Holy Spirit. So I just remember being in like a big room. There was somebody who was like talking to us and I think the Holy Spirit just like hit everybody and like the whole room was just like sobbing. Everybody was just crying, like literally like everyone. And then so everyone was just like, filled with the Holy Spirit crying. And then he just was like, all right, that's enough. Like everyone just be filled with the joy. And everyone was like literally like on the floor, like in fits of laughter.
Someone said it?
Yeah. But I just remember like feeling like this is real. Like there's no way to say that he's not real. Like I just knew in my spirit that it was real.
That's cool. Yeah. This is year 7.
Yeah, so I was 11, 12.
Oh, man, that's pretty special, eh?
Yeah.
Did you come home and talk to your parents about it?
I actually went outside as we were finishing and I begged my teacher if I could call mum and dad. So I went up to a payphone and did like the 1-800 reverse phone call.
Oh, yeah. 1-800.
at like 9 o'clock at night or something. And I think they were freaking out at first because, it's like, would you accept a call from Sasha?
No,
and you will be charged. Yeah.
What's wrong, darling?
And I just remember like crying on the phone and like I'm saying like, Mom, Dad, I felt God. I'm like, I can get teary about it now. And I remember them being so happy. And I think when I got home, my parents took me to Coorong and bought me like my first like Bible. There's like a inscription in it. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I still have that Bible. Yeah.
Wow, how cool.
Yeah. So I think like all through my years then as I like did what a lot of teens do and just like did my own thing. Like I always knew that God was real though. Yeah, so I think that encounter like really I think it gave me a fear of God from a young age.
Good.
Yeah. So, but even though I was, did my own thing, I always had a fear of God.
So what happened then? Because if you had that encounter and I'm guessing you just came back to school and things were somewhat normal, or maybe you guys pressed in for a bit, but then as you went in through high school, I
think it was just like, like I definitely, like I attended youth, I went to school, and I remember there being like other moments. Like, so we went to like Hillsong conference as a school for like the whole week. And I remember having some like, beautiful moments then as well. I don't know. I think a lot of it was just maybe like just wanting to please people, falling into peer pressure, being a bit of like a follower and not just being confident to, I
get it. Well,
and I think a part of that is potentially like a little bit of personality and just wanting to like follow. And so I think, part of that is that. But also, I'm not sure. Like, I don't know why I didn't just like remain there. Yeah. But I think part of it is just like following and, just choosing my flesh over God. Yeah.
And then so how long, like, finished high school, sort of similar? And then what, I guess so there's a period there of, I mean, you just lived your life, just did your thing, not focused on God. But when did God come back into the picture?
And also, sorry, just to go back a little bit, I think a lot of that was like not having a relationship with him, and I think that's like a big part of it too.
Well, that's good. Yeah. I'm glad you said that, because what do you think as a young person could have changed? Like, what do you think could have helped it?
I think if I, instead of choosing the wrong thing, sinning, feeling guilty, and then running to God when I then wanted to, in my head I'd be like, oh, I know I've done wrong. I feel like the conviction, and then coming to God and be like, I'm sorry, like, please forgive me. And then doing the cycle over and over again, instead of just like, sinning, repenting, and then actually like changing my ways and like walking with God. I think it was the walking with God that was like the slip up, I would say.
So what stopped you? So that was the pattern, was it? It was like, do what you want, feel guilty, come back to God.
Yeah.
So you were still going to church every now and then?
Yeah, I was. I don't remember going like all the time. I think there were like times when I would feel like, especially if I had like an encounter with God, and then I'd be like, almost like on a high, and it's like I just want more. But then I think if I'd done the wrong thing and felt guilty and shame, then I wouldn't want to go back. And I guess that kind of happened from like maybe like grade 10, 11, 12. So that by the point that I finished school, I was like, oh, I don't really want to go to like youth anymore. And I'm just going to do my own thing now, which I did for a few years. I never once thought that God wasn't real though. Like, I always believed in him, and I knew that I always wanted to come back, but I was just making my own choices for a time.
Okay. So then what changed?
Where are we? Like 21. I had just come back from an overseas trip. There was a Brazilian man living at my house.
Heard he was really good looking, real handsome.
So before, he used to live at our house when as a homestay student, but he didn't speak any English, and he had moved out, and then I went away traveling, and then he moved back to my house, and then I moved back home, and I just remember being like, oh, he can speak English now. And I just remember
senor.
I was like, hello. No, it wasn't like that at all. It was it's really interesting. So I had a boyfriend before. Knew it wasn't like we didn't want the same things. I knew that I wanted to marry like a godly man. I knew I wanted to have a godly family.
It's interesting, eh?
Yeah. So I kind of got to the point where I was like, no, this is not right. So I wrote the list that a lot of girls write, where you write a list of all the qualities your husband will have.
Okay.
And I was like, so I'm not dating anybody until I meet somebody with all of these qualities, and that person will be the person I marry. So I'm not going to date anybody for a long period of time.
You made that choice?
Yeah. So I was about 20, 21. So I was like, not dating anybody.
What was some of the stuff on the list?
The main one was loves God.
Good. That's a good start.
One. Yeah, but a lot of it was just like kind-hearted, and there was nothing to do with looks. It was all about the heart.
Good.
And so, but I was like, in my head, I had made this plan. So I was going to be single for a year. And then after that year, I'm not going to date anybody until someone comes along with these qualities.
Oh, cool. So he gave you a year to...
I gave my little plan. Yeah.
So was it like, oh, God, this is the plan? Or was it just like, hey, no, God's not really here again? The fear's there? Correct me if I'm wrong.
I definitely remember having moments where I'd just like sit on my bed and like talk to God.
Okay,
like
cool.
I still talk to God. I still like most of my music was worship music. It was odd. It was just like doing my own thing and bringing him alongside for the journey when I chose.
Any positive role models? Any like people that are around you? Like, I mean, obviously you've got positive, but I mean like the community, the church.
No, because I wasn't in church then. Yeah. So no role models. And I think that's a huge thing. So yeah, for young people to have a role model. Like I wish I had that because I think things would have been so different.
Probably could have pulled
just
you.
Like, yeah. I think I just need someone to hold my hand when I was too weak. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. So young people,
get
a role model.
Yeah.
Can change your life.
Yeah.
So where are we now? So then I just remember sitting outside with Huff. We went to like a Brazilian party that there was on in Surfers. They used to have every week.
Whoa. Back it up a little bit. I feel like you jumped some.
Yeah.
So we set the year for yourself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
God's in the picture a bit.
Yeah.
But you're not at church.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you are the church, but you're not going.
Yes.
You're not a part of a community. Okay. And then you move back home.
Yeah.
And the Brazilian guy has come back and he's got a bit of English.
Yeah.
So he stepped his game up a bit. And then where are we in the
probably
year
like
off?
3 months, I would say.
3 months
Maybe
into the year?
3 or 4 months into the year that I've set. Yeah.
And we've got the checklist.
I've got my checklist in my room.
And can I ask, has the Brazilian man living in your parents' house, has he been held up against the checklist at all
No.
at this point? Okay.
Not at all. No.
Good. He's not even on the checklist radar?
No. We had like 8 or 10 students at a time.
That's right.
Yeah. So it was very much like, hi, how are you? Just very, casual. Surface, chatty, So anyway, one night a bunch of the people from my house were going out to a Brazilian party and they're like, oh, do you want to drive us? I was like, sure, I've got nothing else to do. So I went there and I ended up sitting on just like one of those like metal chairs outside of this like Brazilian party place, and Huff came and sat next to me and we sat and talked for like ages, like hours. Actually, we kind of joked because recently they took that chair away and we were really upset about it because every time we drove past, we're like, it's the chair.
Oh, really? What?
Yeah.
What place? Should have gone and asked them for the chair.
Yeah.
Hey, that chair that you made, can we have the metal chair?
We actually were like, we could have put that in our garden. No, it wasn't. It was just like one of those wrought iron sort of chairs.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like by the beach, but like, in front of this hotel.
Hang on. Down in Surfers? Big chair?
No, not that one.
Okay.
Nah.
I was going to say, I don't know a chair.
Yeah, I know.
You're definitely not getting that home. That's a big chair.
No, just like a 2-seater kind of chair.
Okay.
And so because he lived in my house then, like every day we saw each other, we were just like walking the dog and going to the beach and just like getting to know each other. And then I just remember sitting like on the front steps, Rio Vista.
I know the house
291 Rio Vista,
Yep.
sitting on the steps at the front of the house, and we were just like talking about God. And I just remember being at that point, just like the conversations we were having, just like on a spiritual level and just talking about our love for God. And he was from a Catholic background, but I could sense that he had a deep love for God. And there was a part of me that just like fell in love with his heart at that point. But in my head, I was like, no. Yeah. So it took a little bit, like it took maybe a month, which is not, it doesn't sound like long, but we were literally like, he was like in my house. So we were always sitting and having coffee.
Yeah, a lot of time together,
Yeah. And then we were like, well, do you want to go to church together? So we decided to start looking for a church to go to. And yeah, we did go to one, but it was like a club. And we walked out, we were like, wait,
It's so dark in here.
Yeah. So we're like, okay, yeah, no. And then maybe like a month later, so my auntie had moved over from Perth to stay with us. And, you know, my auntie, she talks to everyone, anyone about Jesus and just, you know,
She's a lovely lady.
chat. Yeah. And so we lived near Lake Hugh Months, and my auntie took the dog for a walk there, and she saw Miller and just went up and started talking to Miller because she was like, oh, she looked by herself. And she was like, hello. She's like, you know, where are your parents? And then she pointed to Rochelle and Marshall, and she said, hello, my name's Rebecca. I love Jesus and I'm looking for a church. Do you know one? And they were literally like, oh, yeah, we just started one a couple of months ago.
No.
Yeah.
She just said that to them.
That's what she does. Yeah. Yes. So, because they never would have been like, oh, we've just started a church.
No.
Yeah. But she was like, oh, I've just moved here. I'm looking for a church. And they're like, yeah, sure, come
So
along, you know,
good,
down at the state school. So anyway, she came that week, came home and was like, Sasha, you have to come. You're going to love it. So then I came the next week just with her. And I remember like walking into the door and there was Stevie and Angie at the door.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, how old are you? And I was like, like 21, 22. And they're like, oh my gosh, it's the same age as us. You can be our friend.
Aww.
And so they were super excited because there were not many young girls at the time.
That's pretty cool. How old are you?
Yeah. They were.
I can imagine. We can be friends.
Yeah, it was. It was really cool.
She's not a weird one.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think and then I came home and was like, you have to come next week. And I think he didn't come for the first week, but then maybe the week after. So that was like the first March that Chapel had because Chapel started in September 9th, and then that was about March. And then so Huff came around like the first Easter, and yeah, we slowly started coming. We would call ourselves we didn't call ourselves this, but like looking back, this is how I would say we were like sort of like fortnightly
Christians.
church attendees. Yeah. So if the weather was nice.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's a nice beach day. Should
Yeah,
we
yeah.
go to the beach or should we go to church? Yeah. So we were like that for about a year, I would say, you know. So it would come maybe a couple of weeks, but definitely not every week of the month. It sort of depended how we were feeling. Yeah. And yeah, so that was like coming to Chapel.
And when did the allocated time period, because I'm not going to say the amount of time it is because I feel like that may have changed. When did the allotted time of singleness change?
I'd say, I think by, months. So I think it was like October that we started like talking. And we went to the Brazilian party. Yeah, officially courting. Probably December.
Oh, so
2 months. So that's probably like 6 months in.
Cool.
Yeah.
5-6 months is pretty good.
Yeah, it's all right.
We have, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And you started going to church together, that's cool.
Yeah. So then, come about March, April, we started going to Chapel. So very early in Huff's walk, you know, coming in because he'd just been used to going to church maybe for Christmas and Easter. So it was like quite new for him to come like every week. And yeah, like I made friends really quickly. So I'd be happy to like hang around and have a brownie, you know, have a cup of tea. But he would always be like, he'd have a quick chat with someone and then he'd kind of be standing.
Waiting to go.
Like giving me the eyes, like, you know, because he was like so uncomfortable. Because he didn't know anybody and he didn't want to, he'd talk, but, you know, and then that would be it.
I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah, totally. Like, so it took him a good 2 years. It actually really did until I was like, he's actually starting to like want to talk to people until I'd have to kind of be like, let's go. And he'd be chatting.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That would have been when the Brazilians started to come, right?
Yeah, I remember him talking like he'd be happy chatting to like Saulo and
because that's when them. I came out of rehab.
Yeah.
And then Semi came.
Yeah.
And then pretty quickly, maybe 6 months, a bit longer, Saulo, Kaiki came. and then it was just the floodgates open.
The flood.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, man, it's been a pretty awesome journey for you guys because just slowly eased in, and you would never guess that you would be doing what you're doing now, eh?
No.
How crazy.
No.
Some context for people that don't know, Sasha and Huff, who she's now married to, and has 2 beautiful babies with, run family time, which is that's Sunday for us. So maybe how's the journey been with you guys got married.
So we got baptized down
cool.
at the beach opposite the school after service one day, which we used to always do. And that was, I think, February before we got married. So we got married in April. So it was 2 months before we got married. So that was I think really significant for us in our journey, and just being nah, this is it. We're planted, we're here.
Yeah, that's
this is
cool.
where I think it was a big decision moment for us, and just really choosing, no, this is it. No more fortnightly Christians. We're in. We're either out or in. That's it.
What made that? Do you remember?
I think it was definitely a process. I think for me personally, I had enough of being lukewarm. I had enough of kind of trying to fit in 2 different spaces almost, and I really felt it was around the time that New Wineskin came out. You know that song? You know?
Oh.
New wine.
Where
the
there
link to
is,
the-
where there is new wine.
And I think it just really ministered to my heart just to let go of the old and come into something new. And I think especially getting married, it was, and it's just well, we're going to be family now. This is us. We have a decision. This is it.
Wow.
And for me, I didn't want to, I think my walk with God, I kind of just saw it this highs and lows. And it was just me doing my own thing, going up with God, and then choosing the wrong thing and just kind of plummeting down. And it was I was I'd prefer to be slow and steady, but going up. Just this was how I kind of picked, this is just me picturing this slow journey, but I just and of course things happen, but I didn't want to waver.
Yeah. Deliberately, just flippantly do whatever.
Yeah. I was no, that's it. So getting baptized was the beginning of that journey. And I think from that moment on, getting baptized, lots changed for us.
On the day that you got baptized, did anything significant happen?
No, I just remember feeling new. Wow. Yeah.
That's cool.
And just being I guess not pulled to worldly things, I felt new and fresh in Christ. Yeah, and I had been baptized when I was younger before. But this was different. Yeah. I think because I was just so in. Yeah.
And what about Huff? Was he
I think he was just at that point. He just wanted to decide for himself too, and just make a decision to follow Jesus from this point on, and that's all. That's it. No turning back. Yeah.
Man, it makes sense to what you said, slow and steady, but up and up. Because when I think about it, you guys have just been steady there. From when I've known you, you've always just been around, you've always just been serving, just doing a bit. And you know how someone we both know is always there's never a suddenly without a steadily. Mm-hmm. Steadily, suddenly. And when I think about what you guys are doing now and your walk now, it was steady, And then it's like, oh, you guys just do what you're doing, which I know is significant for you, but it's like, no, that's just what Sasha and Huff do. Like, it just makes sense. It's not even like, wow, look at all that they're doing. It's like, no, they just do that. Yeah. So do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Because I can look back easily 10 years ago and be like, oh, I've changed so much.
Which we do. Like I did the same. I'm like,
whoa. Yeah. But I think for a lot of people, like, I haven't changed in like a short time. Like it's not been like a complete flip around in a moment. It's been like just like daily choice, I think. Steady. Slow and steady.
It's powerful. I think so. Powerful though, eh?
Yeah. Internship was a huge thing for us too. I think that was like
good plug.
Yeah.
Good plug. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So like getting baptized, and then the next like big thing that we did together, which is like, other than getting married and like getting baptized and having kids, this is like one of like top 5 like biggest things that we have done.
How far after you got married? How long after?
So we got married 2015. We had Manny 2017. And
so
2019. Because Manny was 18 months.
When did you do the internship?
Yeah.
When did I do internship?
We finished in 2020 because that was COVID. That's how I remember, because I'm terrible with years.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I'm the same. I'm like, because I can't even, when did I do internship? I thought you guys did the year after us.
No, we did June 2019 to June 2020.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that was a huge decision. We'd been wanting to do it for a couple of years, but
really?
Yeah. Oh, kind of just talking about it, kind of like, that would be cool. Like, I'd love to do it together, kind of thing. But, my excuse was like, oh, but we've got Manny. He's like little. That would be hard.
But then you did it with an 18-month-old.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But it wasn't, every year when the banquet folder comes out, you get the pamphlet. We're like, every year, twice a year, we sit down, and we always sit down together and kind of go, oh, that looks good, and then cool. Try and like then look at our calendar and like, okay, well, you do this one that time, and then I'll do this one this time.
Oh, let's go. Plug in banquets as well. Come on, Sass.
It's no extra cost. Yeah. And just so we'd sit down. This is what we do every time. And then this particular time, we sat down to look at it. And sorry, the day before, so the Sunday just gone, I remember Dan was preaching, and he was like, if you don't know what God wants you to do, why don't you just ask him right now? Just show me, God, what do you want me to do now? And I did, and I literally, like, no joke, there was like nothing on the screen, and I saw like in bold font internship. And I literally thought it was there. Like, I thought someone had put it there.
No way.
Yeah, because I was just like, my eyes welled up. Because I was like, no. Literally, it was so funny. I didn't tell Huff because I was like, I don't know about this. And
and that was before we would have even used the projector for internship stuff.
No, it wasn't there. I knew.
No, but I'm saying, like, we wouldn't have even had graphics for internship back then.
No, we wouldn't.
No.
And then so next day we sat down, and I was like, so what are you thinking? And I was like literally my eyes were like welling up. I was like, I don't know. Because we kind of looked through it. I was like, and he was like, I reckon it's time to do internship. And I was like, no.
No way he said that.
Yeah, literally. And then we were both crying at the table. One, because it was like so cool, because it was just like, God confirming something.
But then the reality of the cost.
Yeah, it was just like,
sad.
I know I get emotional, you know me. I'm like, I've gotten so far. So that was like, okay, yep, we're doing it. And then a part of me was like, oh, but they can still say no.
Oh.
This is me. This was just rejection. Like, they might say no. And this was more just me as a mum trying to like juggle what that would look like. It wasn't anything else. Like, I wasn't, I was working at the time. Huff was working just for himself. But, we were like, oh, this is cool. We knew that we had to be obedient in this moment.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, even though a part of me was like, they might just say one of you or like something. But anyway, so we started internship. Manny would go to kindy on the Monday, which was fine. And then on the Sunday we would just like kind of, take turns with Manny. But he was fine. It was easy. We were serving in Capella as like a instead of doing nighttime prayer, we would just serve in Capella, Brazilian church. And so, that was huge. That was like a real year of just change. I think in a lot of like deep-rooted things that we had ignored maybe, but also just like realising, I remember like Craig came in for like one of our first lectures, and he was like, "Who here is a leader?" And I was like,
one of these guys is Craig. One of them.
Definitely not me. I'm a follower.
Yeah.
I will follow and keep following, and I like to do what I'm told. And he was like, "You're all leaders," because we were reading a making of a leader.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, no."
Yeah. This guy's not prophetic.
Yeah.
We know that.
So funny. But like reading that book really like shifted my view on like leadership, and I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I could lead something crafty, I suppose, Yeah. Kind of putting it into my
into your box.
Limited vision. Yeah. And so by the third term, your brother called us over for dinner, and Huff was like, he's going to ask us to take over kids. And I was like, no, he's not. We're still interns.
Yeah, he definitely is.
Yeah. But then we had like the whole dinner, like 2 or 3 hours were there, and then like literally we're like, okay, we better go now. He's like, oh, do you guys want to take over kids? And we're like, what?
Before he serves dessert?
Yeah.
Or he's walking you out the door. He's like, man, thanks so much. By the way, you guys are taking over kids next week.
Pretty much.
Thanks.
That's a whole nother thing. I think kids was my, me personally, it felt like term 5 of internship. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's when ministry starts, eh?
Yeah.
When the real internship starts.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's pretty cool. It's very cool. It's actually amazing. I'm fixed on what you said. You said it, like slow and steady. I think that's exactly what you said, slow and steady. It's an accurate picture of like your faithfulness, you and Huff's faithfulness, and it's just beautiful, I mean, we've got a great friendship. Sammy and I really love you guys. And
well, our kids are getting married, so.
Yeah. They probably are, eh? Both of them.
Yeah, both of them.
Both of them. We're pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
For those people that don't know, we're trying to bring back arranged marriages. My oldest, Vida, is a girl, born a girl. And Emmanuel, Sasha's oldest, is a boy. And
6.5.
And they're the same age. Yeah. They were born in the same year.
Mm-hmm. In the baby boom.
After the Crazy Love series.
Yes. Yeah.
And then our youngest are both the same age.
Mm-hmm.
Nora and Ollie.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I'm thinking about that more than what I probably want to do right now. I'm happy with both.
Yeah, we might have to follow you guys up the mountain too.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Stuff it. Let's sell the new place. You sell your house and we'll just buy the family ranch now.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah. Is this happening on the podcast right now? This is recorded live. Eh? Imagine if our kids watch this.
That would be so funny.
What have we got? 6.5. So like 15 years?
Yeah. That'd be about 21.
I'd be happy with younger.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'd be happy with 14, 13 years.
Oh, wow.
19, 20 is okay. Hey, Tate.
Oh, I thought you meant when they're 14.
No, whoa. No, we're not going that back.
Yeah, okay.
No, that's not okay. Anyway, so I totally forgot what we were talking about now, but we are trying to arrange our children's marriage. They seem like it's possibly going to work at the moment.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that eventuates, how that pans out.
Yeah. Give it to God.
Well, give it to God. Slow and steady.
Yeah.
What, Sash, like you and Huff, and I know you wouldn't say this, but like what you guys are carrying and what you're doing is like amazing for our community, and you both wouldn't look at yourselves as leaders. But what is a leader? according to the one that we love and the one that we look to. It's a servant
Yes.
of all. So you guys are amazing leaders in that capacity, in that standard. What would you say what's your encouragement for some people that are listening that are like, just going slow and steady, trying to figure their walk out and, think that they're probably a leader in the arts and crafts category, but after arts and crafts. What's an encouragement? Anything you want to say? Run.
Sorry?
Run.
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 Run. I guess it all comes down to your identity in God, hey? Because if you kind of waver like I did in who you are in God and who He's made you to be, I think that's when that self-doubt and lack in confidence can come in and kind of downplay your ability and capacity. But if you know that God has given you something, I think just steward what you can, with what you've got, and be faithful in that, and just watch what He does with what you have in your hands too.
Come on.
And I know it's taken me a lot of time and just exercising a muscle to see what He can do when you just surrender what you've got.
Very good.
And then let Him do the rest, and let Holy Spirit guide you. I think that's just what I've learnt in my journey, is just choosing to be faithful with what's in my hand.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then, exactly like you said, having people around to nurture and encourage you. I look back now and I can see Rochelle just planting little seeds of encouragement, or just saying why don't you come to my house and just help me do this craft? And I was just yeah, sure. Maybe no one else wants to, but I like crafts. But I can just see that she saw something in me and was come along, you can do it, and just slowly giving me more in responsibility. And I think sometimes she's oh, you choose, not because she doesn't want to, because I think she wanted to see me, and so things like that. I'm grateful for.
Oh man. Rings true for both of us, eh? We're so blessed. We are so blessed. Well, thanks for thank you for sharing. Made you cry. Let's go. You made yourself cry then, actually.
I did.
Let's
go.
No, it's really special, eh? We're a part of an amazing community, and you and Huff are awesome, and your testimonies are a powerful one. Simply powerful, eh? So
I think just being planted somewhere healthy is that's what makes you grow well. Yeah, because I think if we had not planted in chapel or somewhere else, it would look so different now. Really would, without the people around to encourage and nurture God in you. Just calling out the good in you, and just championing you. Even now, when you struggle with things, it's if you've got people that you can go to and be they're just it's okay, just keep going. Okay, good. Just calling the truth out, and that makes all the difference, I think.
So good. Well, it's very encouraging and inspiring. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, Sasha, for a song.